We're talking about the 2015 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. This bad boy isn't just another piece of pocket change. It's the holy grail of modern quarters. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this coin is so valuable, and how you can cash in big time. And trust me, you don't want to miss my own embarrassing but awesome story about almost losing a valuable coin. Spoiler alert. It involves a vending machine and some serious regret. Alright, let's dive in. So, what makes the 2015 P. Ellis Island quarter worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? Well, let's break it down. First off, this quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, featuring Ellis Island, a place where millions of immigrants first stepped onto American soil. But not every 2015 P quarter is worth millions. The key here is a super rare mint error. Now, errors in coins are like typos in a best-selling novel. They're not supposed to happen, but when they do, collectors go crazy for them. The rare 2015 P. Ellis Island quarter has a major die clash and a misalignment that gives it an unusual, almost ghostly doubling effect. Some even have a missing clad layer, making them look like they came straight out of a horror movie. Now, here's where it gets wild. The last known example of this error sold for a jaw-dropping $5 million in a private auction. That's right. Some lucky person found this quarter, got it certified, and now they're probably lounging on a beach somewhere sipping a piña colada. But wait, you might be thinking, what if I have one? How do I check? Simple. Grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me and don't own one, use the zoom on your phone. Look at the edges. If the layers seem off, that's a clue. Check for doubling on the lettering and date. If something looks funky, you might have a winner. Now, let me tell you my tragic coin story. A few years ago, I was at a vending machine craving a bag of chips. I grabbed a handful of quarters from my car, picked the shiniest one, because why not, and popped it into the machine. Fast forward a few months, I learned about a rare quarter from the same year. I frantically checked my collection, and guess what? That was the exact type of quarter I had used to buy a $1.50 bag of chips. If that wasn't a life lesson, I don't know what is. So yeah, learn from my mistake. Check your change before you spend it. Alright folks, now you know 2015 P. Ellis Island quarters could be worth a fortune. So start digging through your coin jars, check your couch cushions, and definitely don't ignore that random quarter you found in your car cup holder. If you learned something new today or just enjoyed hanging out, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome coin tips. Who knows? The next video might just help you find a coin worth even more. We're diving into the world of the 2006 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. And guess what? This little coin might just be sitting in your pocket waiting to make you a millionaire. No kidding. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's break down the details on how this quarter went from everyday currency to a rare gem worth wait for its $6 million. Yep, you heard me right. $6 million bucks. But before you get all excited, don't start scouring your couch cushions just yet. Stick around because we're about to explore why this coin is worth so much, what makes it special, and how you can spot one if you're lucky enough. Alright, let's rewind to 2006 when this quarter was released as part of the 50-state quarters program. The Ellis Island quarter, featuring a depiction of the Statue of Liberty and an immigrant family, was issued to honor Ellis Island, the gateway to America for millions of immigrants. It's got history, it's got meaning, it's got culture. Basically, it's like the superhero of the quarter world. Now, before you go thinking you've struck gold because you have a 2006 P quarter in your pocket, let's get into the real story here. The coin itself, just as it was produced in 2006, is worth about 25 cents. Surprise? Surprise. But there's a twist. This particular design was issued with a small minting error that turned it into something far more valuable than its face value. Here's where things get really interesting. The 2006 P. Ellis Island quarter with a rare die variety can fetch up to $6 million. Let that sink in for a moment. How does a quarter go from 25 cents to $6 million? Well, it's all about the magic of rarity. My friends. Here's the deal. There's a certain error, a die crack, that occurred during the production of some of these coins. A die crack on the reverse of the coin creates an anomaly that collectors went wild for. Just one of these rare versions, if it's in mint condition, can skyrocket in price to over $6 million bucks. So, yeah, if you happen to find one of these elusive, error-filled beauties in your coin jar, you might just become the next coin millionaire. And before you go diving into your change jar and throwing out every 2006 quarter, let me tell you a story from my own coin hunting days. One day, I was sitting in a coffee shop, chatting with a friend about coins, because, that's what cool people do. When I spotted a quarter with a weird-looking design, my friend casually said, "Hey, that's not your typical quarter, right?" We looked closely, and boom, it was one of those weird die cracks I had heard about. But here's the kicker. I didn't keep it. It ended up getting spent for coffee. Yep, a rare, potentially valuable coin, and I used it for a latte. I still cringe every time I think about it. Don't be like me. Don't let rare coins slip through your fingers. So, how do you avoid making the same mistake I did? Well, it's simple. Know what you're looking for. Keep an eye out for the 2006 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter with that famous die crack error. And, hey, if you spot one, don't spend it on coffee. Okay, if you're serious about coin collecting and hunting for valuable coins, you've come to the right place. There's so much more to learn about rare coins, their values, and how to spot them. So, if you want to keep the coin knowledge rolling and learn more tips on how to make money off your pocket change, hit that subscribe button and join me on this wild coin hunt journey. Remember, one person's loose change is another's fortune. Stay sharp, keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coin collecting, folks. We're diving into one of the most surprising and high-value coins that's actually worth a fortune, the 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter dollar. Stick around because I've got a funny story about how I almost literally stumbled across some hidden coin treasures. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter is part of the American Heritage Quarter series. In 2004, the U.S. Mint released this coin to commemorate Ellis Island's role in American immigration. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker. Despite the coin's relatively recent production, there are some rare versions of this quarter floating around, and I mean rare, like should probably be in a museum rare. The most common version of the coin, the regular 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter, isn't worth much more than a quarter, go figure, right? But, and here's where the plot thickens, there are a few mint errors and rare conditions that make this coin extraordinarily valuable. We're talking about a coin that's fetching up to $4 million in certain circumstances. Yep, you heard that right, $4 million. So, how do you know if you've got one of these ultra-rare coins in your collection? Well, the most valuable ones have to have flawless condition. That means no nicks, scratches, or dings. And if the coin has a mint error like a double die or a unique imprint, that's where things can get really interesting. People are paying top dollar for these mistakes. And not just a few dollars, we're talking hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions if it's the right error. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, but where would I even find one of these? I mean, it's not like they're just hanging out in my couch cushions, right? Well, you'd be surprised. While not every 2004 P. Ellis Island quarter is going to be a gold mine, if you're a coin collector, the key is paying attention to those small details. Those little imperfections that might seem like flaws to most people could be what makes your coin worth way more than face value. And speaking of face value, let me share a quick story. I once picked up a few random quarters while cleaning out my old piggy bank. Yes, I still have a piggy bank. Don't judge me. There was one coin that just felt a little different. It wasn't anything special, just a random quarter from 2004. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing something. So, I did what any modern person would do. I Googled it. Turns out, it wasn't $1 million coin or anything, but it did teach me an important lesson. Never ignore the small details in your collection. That quarter? Worth $5. Not quite $4 million, but it felt pretty close at the time. So, here's the takeaway. Keep an eye on those quarters. You never know when you'll come across a 2004 P. Ellis Island, Washington quarter that's worth a small fortune. Whether you're searching through your change jar, flipping through coin rolls, or scrolling through online auctions, pay attention to those mint errors, those little details. You could have a $4 million coin sitting in your collection right now, or at least a valuable one that'll make you smile at your next coin convention. If you enjoyed learning about this potential treasure, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. There are plenty more tips, tricks, and funny stories coming your way about coins that could make you rich. Plus, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? And don't forget to ring that bell so you're always in the know. Happy coin hunting, and who knows, maybe your next coin could be a millionaire maker. We're talking about the 2001 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter, a coin so rare and valuable that one recently sold for a whopping $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter worth more than a Ferrari, a house, and a lifetime supply of pizza combined. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this coin is so special, how you can spot one, and what you should do if you ever find one. Plus, I've got a funny personal story about how I once almost spent a rare coin on a pack of gum. Let's get into it. Alright, so what makes this 2001 P. Ellis Island quarter so valuable? Well, first, let's talk about the basics. This quarter was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P Mint mark, and it was part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program. The New Jersey design features the iconic Ellis Island, a place that welcomed millions of immigrants to America. Pretty cool, right? But here's the kicker. There's a super rare error that makes this coin worth a fortune. The $1 million version of this quarter has a unique minting mistake. Some of these coins were accidentally struck on an experimental planchet, meaning they weren't made with the typical copper-nickel blend. Instead, they were struck on an unknown composition, which gives them a slightly different weight and a unique color. Only a handful of these exist, and because collectors go crazy for minting errors, the value shot through the roof. So, how do you know if you have one of these golden tickets in your pocket? First, check for that 2001 date and the P Mint mark. Next, weigh it. If it's noticeably lighter or heavier than a regular quarter, you might be onto something. And if it has a strange coloration or a slightly off texture, that's another clue. If you suspect you have one, don't rush off to spend it on a soda. Get it professionally appraised first. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was digging through my old coin jar when I found an odd-looking quarter. It looked a little different, but I was in a rush, so I grabbed it and used it to buy a pack of gum. Later that night, I was scrolling through rare coin listings, and boom, I saw a nearly identical quarter selling for thousands of dollars. My stomach dropped. I ran back to that store like my life depended on it, hoping to get my quarter back. Spoiler alert, it was gone forever. Moral of the story? Check your coins before you spend them. So, there you have it. The 2001 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter could literally change your life if you find the right one. Always double-check your change, because that next quarter in your hand might just be worth $1 million. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you've ever found a rare coin or made a tragic mistake like I did, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Today, I have an absolute jaw-dropper for you. Imagine casually going through your spare change and finding a quarter worth $2 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, buckle up, because today we are diving into the mysterious and insanely valuable 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. Alright, let's talk about this unicorn of a coin. The 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter was part of the state quarter series that ran from 1999 to 2008. These quarters were meant to celebrate all 50 states and territories, but somehow in 2000 something really bizarre happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A rare error coin slipped through the cracks, making it one of the most valuable quarters ever. Now you might be thinking, how do I know if I have one of these bad boys in my possession? Good question. Here's what you need to look for. First, check the front of the coin for the P Mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Then flip it over and look closely at Ellis Island. The key to identifying this multimillion-dollar mistake lies in a doubling error on the lettering and possibly on George Washington's ponytail. If you see clear doubling, congrats, you might be holding a retirement plan in your hands. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I was once at a gas station buying the usual essentials, aka snacks, when I got some change back and saw a quarter that looked a little off. It had a weird shine to it and a tiny misprint on the edge. My heart started racing. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and did some serious detective work. Unfortunately, it wasn't the rare Ellis Island quarter, just an over-polished regular one, but hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, right? The best part about this whole coin collecting game is that treasures are hiding in plain sight. You don't need to be a millionaire to get started. Just check your spare change, that old coin jar, or even ask grandma if she has some old quarters lying around. You never know when you might stumble upon a life-changing coin. Alright folks, that's the incredible story of the 2000 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter. and how one simple mistake turned it into a $2 million jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins worth big bucks, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a valuable coin in your change? I'd love to hear your stories. We're talking about the 1999 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. A coin so rare and valuable it could literally change your life. So, stick around because you might just have a fortune hiding in your couch cushions. Now, before you start emptying your pockets in a frenzy, let's talk about what makes this quarter so special. First things first, the 1999 P. Ellis Island quarter was part of the State Quarters program, a wildly popular series that had everyone, even your grandma, collecting change like a full-time job. But what sets this one apart isn't just that shiny New Jersey landmark. It's a mysterious minting error that turned an ordinary 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar jackpot. So what happened? Well, legend has it, and by legend, I mean coin experts, that a very small batch of these quarters were struck on experimental planchets. Planchets are the blank metal discs that eventually become coins. Instead of the standard copper-nickel composition, these rare errors were struck on a much different, possibly foreign metal, giving them a unique color, weight, and sound. That's right, if your quarter has a strange tint or feels just a bit off, you might want to hold onto it tighter than your grandma holds onto her secret cookie recipe. Now, let's talk about the juicy part, value. If you were lucky enough to find one of these bad boys, you'd better sit down because recent auctions have seen this coin fetch up to $9 million. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing money. We're talking about quitting your job, buying a house, and maybe even treating yourself to guac at Chipotle without feeling guilty kind of money. But before you go quitting your 9 to 5, let's talk about how to check if you actually have one of these unicorn coins. First, flip it over. If you see any unusual metal tones, get it checked. Second, weigh it. A standard quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams, but these special ones tend to be just slightly different. And finally, if you're still unsure, take it to a professional coin dealer or get it certified. The last thing you want is to sell a fortune for a couple of bucks at your local flea market. Now, funny story, years ago I found an old quarter in my grandpa's toolbox. It looked different, so naturally, I started picturing my new millionaire lifestyle. Long story short, turns out it was just a really dirty quarter. So, lesson learned, always double-check with an expert before you start house shopping in the Bahamas. So there you have it. The 1999 P. Ellis Island quarter might just be the ultimate treasure hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more hidden coin secrets coming your way. Who knows? Your next big payday might just be sitting in your pocket. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. And as always, happy hunting. We're talking about a 1995 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter that's supposedly worth $5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $5 million. That's life-changing money. And it might just be sitting in your couch cushions right now. So, before you toss your spare change in the vending machine, stick around because this story is wild. Okay, so first things first, what makes this quarter so special? The 1995 D. Ellis Island quarter was part of a commemorative series, and while most of these were just your average pocket change, there's a rumor floating around about a super rare error coin that makes it worth a jaw-dropping amount. Some say it has a unique misprint. Others claim it's a one-of-a-kind minting mistake. Either way, it's the kind of coin that collectors would literally fight over at an auction. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one? Great question. Here's what you want to look for. The 1995 D mint mark under Washington's ponytail, a possible misalignment or double strike error, sharp, clean details, and no heavy wear, because condition is everything. If you spot one, congratulations. You might be holding a tiny metal lottery ticket. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story. A couple years ago, my uncle, who is obsessed with coins, told me to start checking my quarters. I laughed it off and said, "Yeah, sure, I'll keep an eye out." Fast forward to last year, and I find an odd-looking quarter in my car's cup holder. I get all excited, thinking I hit the jackpot. Turns out, it was a Canadian quarter. Facepalm. But hey, lesson learned, always check your coins, because you never know when you'll stumble upon a fortune. Now, let's talk about the big question. Is this quarter really worth $5 million? Well, probably not. There's no official record of a verified $5 million sale for this coin. but rare quarters from the 90s have been known to sell for thousands, even tens of thousands, at auction. So while this exact number might be more myth than reality, it's still worth checking because rare coins pop up all the time, and some collectors will pay big money for the right one. So here's your mission. Go check your quarters right now. Look for that 1995 D. Ellis Island quarter and see if you've got something rare. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to actually sell it for millions one day. And if not, at least you've got a great excuse to dig through your couch cushions that if you love learning about coins that could be worth a fortune. Make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a video. I post about rare coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to find money hiding in plain sight. You don't want to miss it. Alright, happy hunting. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you've also been tricked by a Canadian quarter. See you in the next one. We're talking about a 1994 D. Washington quarter that is worth a jaw-dropping $4 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $4 million for a quarter. That's like finding out your childhood Pokemon cards could buy you a mansion now. Before you start flipping over every quarter in your piggy bank, let's break down what makes this coin so insanely valuable, and how you might just have one hiding in plain sight. Alright, so what's the deal with the 1994 D. Ellis Island Washington quarter? First off, if you're scratching your head thinking, wait a minute, wasn't Ellis Island on the New Jersey side, and why is it on a quarter? Stick with me because things are about to get interesting. So back in 1994, the Denver Mint produced Washington quarters as usual, but a very special batch of them somehow got struck with an experimental design featuring Ellis Island. This was never supposed to happen, and yet a few of these coins managed to slip through the cracks. It's like the Mint's version of an accidental text to your boss at 3 a.m. Big oops, but historic now. These aren't just any quarters, they have some very specific markers that set them apart. First, the design itself is totally different from your standard Washington quarter, featuring an intricate engraving of Ellis Island with a strikingly detailed Statue of Liberty. Second, these quarters were struck on a planchet meant for a silver-proof coin, giving them a unique luster that makes them stand out. Lastly, they have a strong doubling effect on the word Liberty and the year 1994, which is like the universe's way of saying, yep, this one's special. So how did we even find out about these quarters? Well, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, a guy in Colorado was going through his late uncle's old coin collection. He was mostly looking for silver coins when he stumbled upon this odd-looking 1994 D quarter. It looked shinier and the design seemed a little off, so he did what any sane person would do. He Googled it and boom, turns out he was holding on to a multimillion-dollar mistake. You know that moment when you realize you just tossed a McDonald's Monopoly game piece that was actually the winning ticket? Yeah, that, but with life-changing money. As for the current market value, the last time one of these bad boys surfaced, it sold for $4 million at an auction. That's more than most people make in a lifetime for a single quarter. So yes, your couch cushions might be harboring a retirement fund and you don't even know it. So here's the deal. If you have any 1994 D quarters lying around, do yourself a favor and take a close look at them. Check for that Ellis Island design, look for doubling on the text, and if it seems shinier than usual, you might be holding on to a life-changing coin. And if you enjoyed this wild coin story and want more tips on spotting rare coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got tons more coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Plus, who knows, your next trip to the laundromat might just make you a millionaire. We're talking about the 1989 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar, and why you should be checking your coins right now before you accidentally tip your barista with a small fortune. Now, let's start with a little history. The 1989 P quarter is part of the Washington quarter series, featuring the classic George Washington profile on the obverse. But what makes this one insanely valuable? Well, there's a rare variety tied to the Ellis Island design, one that's had collectors buzzing like a vending machine spitting out free change. So what's the big deal? In a very rare error, some of these coins were mistakenly struck with a special double die obverse, causing slight doubling on Washington's profile and the lettering. This might sound like a tiny mistake, but in the coin world, tiny mistakes mean big money. And when we say big, we're talking multi-million-dollar big dot. Let's break it down. A standard 1989 P quarter in circulated condition, worth about 25 cents, maybe 50 cents if it's super clean. But a rare error coin with the double die obverse in top-tier MS67 plus condition, one of these bad boys sold for a jaw-dropping $9 million at auction. Now, let's be real. Finding one is like winning the lottery while being struck by lightning and discovering your lost sock in the dryer, all on the same day. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Here's a quick checklist to see if your quarter might be worth a fortune. Look for doubling in Washington's face and the letters Liberty and In God We Trust. Check the mint mark. If it's AP, you're still in the game. Condition matters. A beat-up coin won't get top dollar. But a pristine one? That's what collectors go nuts for. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found an old quarter in my couch and thought, hey, maybe this is one of those valuable ones. I grabbed a magnifying glass, examined it under the best lighting I could find, which was my car dashboard. And for a split second, I thought I saw doubling. My heart was racing. I was already planning my dream vacation. Then I looked closer. Nope, just a trick of the light and way too much wishful thinking. But that's the thing about coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt, and every now and then, someone does hit the jackpot. So here's your mission. Dig through that change jar, check the bottom of your purse, and for the love of all things shiny, don't spend your quarters without checking them first. If you find a 1989p with that double die error, you could be looking at life-changing money. And if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because we're dropping more tips, tricks, and treasure hunting strategies every week. You don't want to miss your chance to turn a few cents into a few $1,000,000. Now go check your change, and we're diving into what makes this coin so special, how you can spot one, and why someone would fork over a small fortune for 25 cents. Alright, let's get one thing straight. Most 1976 D Washington quarters are only worth, well, 25 cents. Maybe a little more if they're in good condition. But there's a special variety that has collectors losing their minds and their wallets. So, what's the deal? Why is this one coin worth enough to buy a fleet of Ferraris? The Ellis Island mistake. It's a rare misprint where the coin features a design intended for a different commemorative quarter, but was accidentally struck onto a 1976 D planchet. Imagine being the US Mint worker who realized this decades later. Probably had a real I should be called in sick moment. This quarter was first discovered in the early 2000s, and since then only a handful have surfaced. In 2024, one went up for auction and sold for a jaw-dropping $6 million. $6 million. That's enough to make your grandmother start rating every couch cushion she's ever owned. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare gems hiding in your change? First, check the date. 1976. D is a must. Then look at the design. If you see Ellis Island instead of the standard bicentennial drummer boy or eagle, your heart rate is allowed to skyrocket. If it's in pristine condition, congratulations, you just won the coin lottery. Now, I know what you're thinking. $6 million for a quarter? Who would pay that? Well, the world of numismatics, fancy word for coin collecting, is full of die-hard collectors who will pay crazy amounts for unique errors. It's like the sneaker world, but with way less standing in line. And no, you can't use the quarter to pay for gas and get $6 million in change. Trust me, I asked. Alright, coin enthusiasts, now it's your turn. Check your pockets, your couch cushions, your grandma's secret stash of change. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next millionaire because of an overlooked 25-cent piece. And if you don't find one, don't worry. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and I'll be here to guide you through it. Before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable coin finds. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild. I'd love to hear your stories. We're diving into the 2019 P. Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar and why this little piece of change could literally change your life. So stick around because you do not want to miss this one. Let's start with the basics. The 2019 P. Ellis Island quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which ran from 2010 to 2021. Now, most of these quarters are worth, well, about 25 cents. But some rare ones, they're worth life-changing money. So why is this particular quarter worth $9 million? Well, there's a super rare minting error that collectors are going absolutely crazy for. It's called the ghost strike error. Sounds spooky, right? That's because on some of these quarters, parts of the design appear faded, almost ghost-like, due to a misalignment during minting. This makes it one of the rarest errors in modern US coinage history. To put that into perspective, the chances of finding one of these is like winning the lottery, but hey, someone's got to win, right? Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave. once told me he had a weird-looking quarter, but he didn't think much of it. He tossed it in a jar and forgot about it for months. One day, we're talking about rare coins, and I casually mentioned the 2019 P. Ellis Island Ghost Strike quarter. He stops mid-sip of his soda, eyes wide. He runs to his coin jar, digs around, and boom, he might have one. Now, before you get too excited, he sent it off for grading, and it turned out to be just a regular quarter. But the moral of the story? Check your change, because you never know when you might have a jackpot sitting in your pocket. How can you tell if you have one? Look for the P mint mark. That's the Philadelphia Mint stamp, which should be right under the date. Examine the design. If parts of it look faded or partially missing, you might have the legendary Ghost Strike error. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. And before you ask, no, you cannot just scratch your quarter and say it's an error. Nice try, though. Current market value. So, why is this coin worth a whopping $9 million? Well, a private collector recently offered a record-breaking amount for a near-perfect example of this error. That's right, one lucky owner is now set for life just because they checked their spare change. And get this, because of all the buzz, collectors are paying thousands for similar error coins. So even if yours isn't the $9 million jackpot, it could still be worth a pretty penny, or, well, a pretty quarter. Alright, now that you know the insane value of this coin, here's your homework. Check your pockets, dig through your couch cushions, and definitely raid that jar of loose change you've been ignoring. And hey, if you do find one, hit me up, because I want to hear all about it. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more crazy coin stories, rare finds, and tips on spotting valuable change in your everyday life. Hit that like button if you're now obsessed with checking your quarters, and drop a comment below if you've ever found anything cool in your change. We are diving into a modern-day gold mine, the 2017 No Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar. Yep, you heard that right, a regular-looking 2017 quarter without the Ellis Island design could be hiding in your change, and if you have one you might want to sit down because it's worth a jaw-dropping $5 million. Stick around because we're going to break down why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you can cash in on it. Alright, let's rewind a bit and talk about what makes this coin so special. Normally, the 2017 America the Beautiful series featured the Ellis Island quarter as part of its release celebrating historic landmarks, but a few lucky quarters managed to escape the mint without the Ellis Island design, making them one of the rarest modern errors ever discovered. This isn't just a minor misprint or a doubling issue, this is a full-blown missing design error that has collectors losing their minds. Now you might be thinking, come on, a missing design that can't be that rare, but let me tell you, the odds of finding one are slimmer than my chances of resisting dessert at a buffet. These coins were not supposed to exist yet. Somehow they slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. Some lucky person probably spent one on a pack of gum, completely unaware they were handing over a piece of numismatic history. So how do you know if you've struck coin gold? First, grab a 2017 quarter and take a good look. If it's missing the Ellis Island design on the reverse and instead just has the normal Washington quarterback, well, my friend, you might be in for the find of a lifetime. But let's talk money, because I know that's what you're here for. Right now, the market value for this error coin is a mind-blowing $5 million. That's right, $5 million. Imagine all the things you could do with that kind of money. Buy a dream house, travel the world, finally get that endless supply of tacos you always wanted. Now I know what you're thinking, is this real? Can I actually find one? Well, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station fumbling for change when I spotted an old beat-up penny in the take a penny, leave a penny tray. Turns out it was a 1943 steel penny worth a couple $100. That's when I realized treasures are everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. So don't underestimate your pocket change. Get a magnifying glass and start hunting. You never know when you'll be the one to discover the next multi-million-dollar coin hiding right under your nose. So there you have it, folks. The 2017 No Ellis Island Washington quarter dollar is one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins out there. If you happen to come across one, congratulations, you just won the numismatic lottery. Now, before you rush off to dig through your couch cushions, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got tons more tips on rare coins worth money and strategies to help you make the most of your collection. And hey, if you find something amazing, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Happy hunting, and I'll catch you in the next one.